Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 153. I had to check. Welcome to episode number 153 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have everyone here with me today. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by to check out my channel. I hope you have fun here and hope you enjoy it and hope you stick around. And welcome back to all of my returning viewers. I appreciate you so much, and I'm so thankful that you come back to see me every week to see what kind of shenanigans I've been up to. Yeah, always so happy to have everyone here. If you haven't subscribed yet, go for it. It's free. And you get to keep up with all of my nonsense week after week. Anyway, we have a gorgeous day here today. It is Saturday, March the 18th, so only 2 days left of winter. And Monday will officially be in spring. The weather right now feels like spring already. It's gorgeous out there. It's in the low 50s Fahrenheit. Bright blue sky. It's actually... My hubby and I always refer to this, it looks like it's a Simpsons cartoon sky. That's what our sky looks like now. It's bright blue with the big white puffy clouds here and there. So it looks like that opening part on The Simpsons. That's what the sky looks like today. It's gorgeous out there. And it's been nice for a couple days now. So hopefully we're coming out of winter and we're heading into spring, which is probably my favorite time of year. Well, I actually love fall as well. Anyway, so it's been a fairly productive week for me knit-wise. I have made progress. I've only focused on my 2 whips. I've refrained from casting on anything new. I've been tempted, but I haven't tried anything or haven't cast on anything new. And I'm very impatiently waiting for round 2 of Sock Madness to start. The round officially finished about 4, well, they sent out a message on Ravelry about 4:30 in the morning today that the last person, what's the word I'm looking for? Contestant, that's it. Oh my goodness. The last contestant that was still in the running submitted their socks by 4:30 this morning. So we are ready to start round 2 sometime. I am impatiently waiting. I've been hitting the refresh button over and over and over, and just impatiently waiting for them to release the specs, so we can get excited about when the pattern drops for the second pattern. I am actually really hoping that we find out and we get the pattern before Sunday evening is over. I'm out of town Monday and Tuesday, and I would absolutely love to have the pattern in my sticky little paws printed and have had a chance to select the yarn I want to use so that I can work on the pattern while I'm away on Monday and Tuesday, because I will have a lot of downtime by myself to work on my knitting. The hubby is going away for a conference, so I'm going along with him, but he's going to the conference and I'm either just going to be sitting in the car or sitting in the hotel lobby waiting till I can check into our room and knitting. I'll also be checking in on a few school things, get a bit of grading done, stuff like that, but I will have the majority of the day for knitting from like 9 till 3 or 4. I think he's finished up the conference. I think the conference runs from 9 till 4. So I'll probably have to go back from the hotel back to the conference center, pick him up and come back to the hotel. And then Tuesday I'll have some time for knitting on Tuesday. We have some errands to run and we get to go and get our taxes done. We're gonna go and visit our accountant on Tuesday and have him do up our income taxes. So that'll be fun. God. But I will have a goodly amount of time on Monday and Tuesday to knit, and I'm really hoping I can work on the round 2 socks. My biggest fear is that the pattern will be released sometime on Monday morning after we've hit the road, which will be at like 6 in the morning or something ridiculous like that. Because I don't want to have to haul a bunch of yarn up with me. We're driving, so it's not a big deal. I can just pack a bunch of yarn. But I'd rather know ahead of time so I can just take what I need, and so I can get the pattern printed. I'm one of those old-fashioned people that like my patterns printed up, and then I just mark off things as I do them, as opposed to doing it on my phone or doing it from a computer screen or a laptop screen. I don't have a tablet, so I don't have something a smaller size to use. Maybe I'll look into that one of these years, but for the most part, paper and pen works best for me. So anyway, enough nattering on about all kinds of nonsense before I even show you anything. So I got a fair bit of work done on my March sort of shorty socks. So when I saw you last, I was way down here by the cat stitch marker. So I finished the foot on both of them, done the heel turn, heel flap, and I've got just a couple rounds done moving up the leg. So with these, again, I am using my 50 gram 12-day advent calendar, and this is by Orlando Fiber Arts, and this was the March color. Well, I'm doing them, it's an advent calendar, but I got it a little bit late, and I opted to use each of the 12 days as one of the months through the year. So I will be making one pair of sort of shorty socks each month of the year. So I'm over halfway through this skein of yarn. What I will continue to do with what's left of the skein of yarn, since I'm doing them toe up 2 at a time, and I'm just using it from the inside and the outside of the cake of yarn, I'll continue going up the leg for about 25 rounds. Then I will switch to doing a 2x2 ribbing until I completely run out of the main color. Then I will switch back to the bare yarn and do 2 or 4 rounds in the bare yarn just to put a little bit of color at the top, and they'll be done. So these will, I imagine, quite easily be finished before March is finished, and then I'll be ready to cast on my April pair of socks once I see what the yarn looks like. I just have all these extra markers here because I mark every 10 rows. So I know that I need to go to 55 rounds of the main color on the foot, 55 rounds, and then I do the gusset increasing. That takes 20 rounds. With the 20 rounds on the toe, 55 plus the other 20 gives just the right length for my size 10-ish foot. So I like having the markers so I know exactly, I don't have to keep measuring. I know exactly how many rounds I need to go to have these socks done and fit just right. So I got a lot done on my March sort of shorty socks this month, or this past week, so I'm really happy with that. Drinking a Coke Zero today, or half of one. We just had one in the fridge, so hubby and I split the thing. I have also spent a goodly amount of time this week working on my Rachel top. Now, this is a pattern by Veronica Job, and I have made a really nice amount of progress on here this week. I was down at the marker down here, so I've added a good several inches. And I'm getting close to the point where it'll be time to decide if I'm ready to divide at the underarm to do the front and back. I need to do 2 more rounds in the pattern repeat. Then I will do 1 more 8-round pattern repeat, which will include 1 more decrease on this panel that goes down the side, which this gives it the nice tunic shape, where it's wider around the hip than at the underarm. But I'm down to only 3 stitches left on either side between the markers, and in the next pattern repeat on round 2 I need to decrease it from 3 stitches to 1 stitch. Now the pattern's not clear how you do that. I'll have to reread it, maybe I missed a part, but typically on the decrease rounds, you, at the beginning and end of where the markers are, you decrease, you purl 2 together, and then work the rest of in between those 2 in pattern, and then you keep decreasing all the way up. Well, now that I'm at 3 stitches, I have to go from 3 to 1 stitch, but that's not going to work doing a purl 2 together twice at the beginning and end. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to do, across those 3 stitches, I'm going to do a centered double decrease. So I have 1 stitch, because the next round that stitch will be knit. So it'll continue on in pattern with a single knit stitch between the markers until we're ready to split for the front and back. So that's the plan. I'm on round 6 right now in the repeat. On round 2 of the next repeat, I'll do the decreasing, then I go up to 8, and then I'll have to do a measurement and a bit of a look-see to see if I think the body is long enough from the armpit to the hip, and decide if I want to do maybe another 1 or 2 8-round repeats before I call it done, or before I call it done enough to start the front and back, because I do want to make sure it's long enough. I don't want it to be too short. So once I've done the next 10 rounds, I will reevaluate how long I think it's going to be. I'm hoping that I think it's long enough that I don't have to do a couple 8 or 16 more rounds, but we'll see. We shall see. Hopefully I'll have got to that point next week and I can tell you what I ended up deciding. But if round 2 Sock Madness comes out, these 2 whips are going to be put to the wayside and ignored until round 2 is finished. So that's all the knitting I've done this week. It's actually, relatively speaking, it's a lot of knitting, but only on 2 projects that you've seen several times already. But like I say, I don't want to cast on more. I'm one of those people, I think I've talked about this before. I'm one of those people that I feel overwhelmed and I get anxious if I have too many whips. Because I do tend to ignore some of them. If I have too many, it becomes overwhelming for me, and I end up just focusing on just 2 or 3. Either 2 or 3 is my happy place for number of whips, especially where one of them is a pair of vanilla socks, so that's my mindless knitting. Although there's the Joby's, or the Veronica sweater, not Veronica, oh my gosh, the Rachel top by Veronica Joby. I've used all those names, but Rachel is the name of the shirt. That one's become fairly, the pattern's quite easy to memorize. So there's only, out of the eight rounds, there's only 2 rounds that require a little bit of concentration. The other ones you just zip around. But I'm a dainty girl, so for me to have to zip around, it's a lot of stitches going all the way around my dainty little belly. So each round does take a while to do. But in the grand scheme of things, I've only had 2 whips I've worked on this week, but I've got a fair bit of work done on both of them. And I'm really happy with the progress I've made on both of those. But I am crossing my fingers that round 2 comes out soon. I'd love it if it came out today, because then I can get started on it. But as long as it's out before I have to hit the road on Monday morning, I'm happy. Or if it doesn't come out by then, I'm hoping the pattern doesn't come out till Wednesday. We shall see. The pattern will probably come out, at least if the specs come out in time so I can pack appropriate yarn. Otherwise I will have to, I don't have to, otherwise I will feel like I need to pack all of the required yarn for all of the possible sock patterns, or I'll have to pack the yarn for each of the possible remaining specs that are out there yet for the patterns. So I don't really want to have to pack enough for 6 different rounds of socks when it's only 1 round that's going to be coming out. I hope that made sense. Anyway, so I don't want to have to pack half of my yarn stash to go with me. I really do hope that worst case scenario the specs come out before we leave so I can pack just what I need for that particular round. But we shall see. Tune in next week to find out whether that worked or did not work for me. So also this week I kind of treated myself. I've got a small yarn acquisition. I need more yarn like I need a hole in the head. But here we are. So actually what happened was last month, one of the ladies at our church gave me $20 for my birthday. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna use that to buy myself a little yarn treat. So the $20 wasn't quite enough to cover this, so by the time I covered I think I had to pay an extra $5 or $6. And it was enough to buy these two cuties. So what these are, let me just get all the names right. I can't read it properly. It's by Nanette Wake Studio. She's over in the West Coast, someplace in Washington. And they're both 50-gram skeins of yarn. And you know how much I'm on a kick with these 50-gram skeins of yarn. They're just perfect for a pair of socks that are just right for me. So this one is gorgeous. They're both gorgeous. So here's a little bit of a close-up. Here's her label. Come on, focus. You're not going to focus for me, are you? It doesn't want to focus. Anyway, here's her instructions. Maybe it's because of too much light. Anyway, this one, the name of the color is Midnight Rendezvous. It's a fingering weight 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 50 grams, 218 yards. So, Midnight Rendezvous, gorgeous. And this one, same stuff, fingering weight, 85-15 superwash merino, nylon blend, 50 grams, 218 yards. This one is called Ice Cream Truck. And what a pretty color. Look at that. Oh, that one, it focused a little better there. I don't know if these are focusing for you. Anyway, so that was my little birthday present from one of the ladies at church. Again, she gave me 20 bucks and I thought, it's perfect. This will make me 2 pretty little pairs of sort of shorty socks. So I just thought that they're really pretty. She had them in the 50-gram skeins. I am currently in love with working with 50-gram skeins. So I have several now, and probably my goal is to make myself a whole box of these toe-up sort of shorty vanilla socks in my 50-gram skeins of yarn, or my 50-gram skeins, in a variety of 50-gram skeins of yarn. I like them. They come to just a perfect length for my fat little legs. So I don't do tall socks because my legs, I've always had large calves, and as I've gained weight, my calves are big. So I don't like tall socks. They're just not comfortable, and in order to knit all the way around, nah, I'm not into that. And I never have been big on tall socks, ever. Probably because I've always had large calves. But anyway, so that's about it this week. It's been a busy week with work. All kinds of class things. We were back to work this week after our spring break. And so there was grading to catch up on, all kinds of school things, back in the back to the swing of things. So that did tie up part of my time this week, but I also did manage to squeeze out a decent amount of knitting time, which makes me happy. But otherwise, I think that's about it. Not much else otherwise new or exciting around here. It's typically the same old with me. I do have a fiber festival I'm hoping to go to 22nd of April, so it's still a month away, in Frederick, Maryland. It's about an hour, maybe not even an hour's drive from here, kind of southeast-ish, mostly south. So it's a fairly easy drive to get down there for us. So I dragged the hubby with me there in the fall. He just found a comfy place to sit and listen to an audiobook for the time that I wandered around looking in the barns with all the yarn and goodies. And then we had lunch and came home. So, although this, I'm contemplating, because I'm hoping to go to the fiber festival, but that's also the first day that I'm able to donate blood again after the last time I did in December. And I really would like to get that done that day as well. But I'm not keen on donating blood in the morning and then going and wandering around a fiber festival all afternoon. It's just it'll be a little bit too much. Or I found if I overdo it after I donate blood, I typically am fine after I donate blood, but if I overdo it, my energy just kind of goes, which is understandable because I do a double donation each time I donate, so they do drain a fair bit of blood out of me. But I'm hoping to get that. I'm hoping to do that, but we shall see. And otherwise, I think that's about it. I should get going, get the editing done on this, and go and refresh the the Sock Madness page a couple more times and see if maybe the specs came out while I've been talking to you for the last almost half an hour. Cross your fingers, maybe. So anyway, I shall let you go, and I will see you guys again in a week. Hopefully I'll have a pair of Sock Madness Round 2 socks to show you progress on. Alrighty, take care everyone, and I will see you guys again in a week. Bye!